As you guys know, I spent the last year of my life dedicated to getting out of debt. And going into this goal, I knew that it was going to take a lot of sacrifice, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of scrutinization that needed to happen with my budget and my spending habits and where exactly my money was going. I decided that I was going to cut corners, cut out the fat, and really just stop spending money on things that were not necessities, but more so wants and luxuries. So I sat down, I reviewed my budget, and I found 9 key areas that I really could do without and ended up saving me a lot of money, because sometimes those little things add up and it actually ends up being a lot more than what you think. And to be honest with you, at the end of the day, I actually don't really miss these 9 things, and I don't think I'm going to go back to spending money on them because I'm perfectly content with living without these 9 things. So the first thing on the list that I decided to stop spending money on is pedicures and manicures. It used to just be an everyday part of my life. I loved going to get a pedicure every 2 or 3 weeks. Living in Florida, you wear a lot of sandals and your heels are exposed, so your heels get really dry, and it was just something that I just did routinely. But it's really expensive, and the last time that I went to go get a pedicure, which was a little over a year ago, the lady that was giving me the pedicure told me that the heel scraping or scrubbing that they do is actually not really that good for your heel. And she recommended that I use cocoa butter instead. So I went home and I ordered this bad boy off of Amazon, and it's only $5 and a little goes a long way, and it works so good. My heels are always super soft and moisturized, so I don't even really need to go get a pedicure anymore. If there's a reason that I need some polish, like I'm going out for dinner or I'm going out with family or whatever, I'll just do my own polish, but I really don't feel like I need pedicures, and it's something that I've learned to live without, and that is a major saving area because pedicures and manicures are so expensive. Okay, so the next item that I saved money on was actually makeup. So I've always worn makeup ever since I was a young teenager, and I've experimented with different foundations and different brands and textures. I've tried the liquid, I've tried the powder, the mineral foundation, all the things. And one day I just decided that number one, makeup is expensive, especially foundation. Another thing is I'm never really 100% satisfied with it. I felt like it would either make me feel a little bit oily or a little bit dried out and cakey, or it just didn't quite match right. So I could never find something that I absolutely loved. And I just decided I was done. So what I do now is I just put like a little bit of bronzer, a little bit of blush, maybe a little bit of contour powder under my eyes, something like that. But it's super affordable, and I'll buy one contour palette and it'll last me like 6 months or more. And a little mascara and call it a day, some chapstick. And I cannot tell you how much I am at peace with this decision to no longer wear a foundation or invest in expensive makeup. I truly feel like I personally am more comfortable with the less is more mentality, and I'm super at peace with my decision to not spend large amounts of money on makeup anymore. All right, the third item that I no longer spend tons of money on, or I quit spending money on while I was trying to get out of debt, is expensive skincare products. Now, I'm sure you're starting to notice a trend. Cosmetics, makeup, things like that are just expensive. And skincare is definitely up there on the pricey side of things. It's just so expensive. You can spend upwards to $30, $40, $50 on like 1 ounce of eye cream, which I just feel like is ridiculous. And I know people love their skincare routine, and if you do, that's totally fine. Keep doing you. But me personally, I just was not comfortable spending that much money on such a small amount of an item. And again, I am telling you, this stuff works. It works so good. And I love this stuff. Honestly, if I could bathe in this stuff, I would. I just lather up from head to toe. I use it on my face. I use it on my neck, my chest, my legs, feet, everywhere. And it is the best stuff since sliced bread. So I'm just gonna go with this for a little while until I decide that maybe one day I might want to start investing in a more expensive skincare routine. But for right now, my only goal with skincare is just to moisturize. And this certainly gets the job done. All right, the fourth item that I stopped spending money on while I was trying to get out of debt is expensive trips to the hair salon. For years and years, I have gone to the hair salon, booked my appointment months in advance because that's what you have to do. Going to get the highlights, the lowlights, the expensive cuts, you name it, I've tried it. But again, kind of like with the makeup, I felt like I never left 100% satisfied. Or maybe I liked it in the moment. I felt really good about it. I thought, yeah, this is a really great color on me. I really love this. But then a couple of days later, the newness would wear off and I just, I felt like maybe, it was just okay. It wasn't really worth the money. So I decided to stop dyeing my hair. I decided to stop going to the salon. I just let my natural hair grow out. This is my natural brunette. And I go to Great Clips, Hair Cuttery, what's the other one? Supercuts, whatever is available. I go get a $20 haircut once every 3 or 4 months whenever my ends start getting split. And I call it a day. And I'm super happy and content with that. So that is another major expense that I decided to cut out altogether when I wanted to focus on my debt. The fifth item that I stopped spending money on, drinks. So alcohol, coffee, and tea. I quit going through the Starbucks drive-through. I quit, if I felt like it. I'm not a big alcohol drinker, but every once in a while, you just get the taste for it. But it's so expensive if you're gonna sit down at a restaurant and order a glass of wine or order a beer or whatever, versus just having it at home. On the rare occasion that you do get the urge for it, it's so much more affordable to just make a home-cooked meal and have that beer or that glass of wine at home, because the restaurants and the bars or whatever, they jack up the prices and it is crazy expensive. So I also make all of my coffee and tea at home. I don't go to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. And again, I'm just really content doing this. It doesn't feel like that big of a chore to me. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything by making my own coffee and tea, an occasional alcoholic beverage at home. Okay, the sixth thing that I stopped spending money on was going through the car wash. And this isn't really a huge budget item. It wasn't really that much money that I was spending at the car wash. But about once a month, I would just go, I'd pay the 20, 25 bucks or whatever, and get my car washed and vacuumed, get the windows cleaned and all that stuff. And it was really just more of a convenience thing. That's kind of silly when I can just do it myself for free. And then that's $20 that I can spend on something else. So again, this is a huge expense, but it's definitely something that I started just washing my own car at home, getting a little handheld vacuum cleaner and just, cleaning out the crumbs and the french fries from Kaidale in the back seat and call it a day. I'm not super high maintenance when it comes to my car, so I just try to clean it out every once in a while, and that definitely saves me some money in the long run. Another thing too that you can do if you don't have one of those vacuums is you can just go to the gas station, and a lot of the times the vacuum is free along with the air for your tire. It's usually free, but if not, it's like $1 or $2. So, for a couple of bucks, you can get like 5 minutes, and usually those vacuums are really strong. Like they'll get everything out of your car. So, it's definitely a lot more affordable than paying somebody else $25 to do it for you. Okay, the next thing that I stopped spending money on was Amazon Prime. And I know everybody loves their Amazon Prime. I love my Amazon Prime, but honestly, I've told you guys before how much I love Dave Ramsey and I love listening to The Ramsey Show. And they talk a lot about how personal finance is 80% behavior and 20% income. I believe it to be true from my own personal experience that it truly is more about behavior than your income. And with Amazon Prime, that is a perfect case study, because if you've got it right there and the shipping is free, you're so much more likely to order more things. So by me pausing or canceling my Amazon Prime subscription, it made me have to go through that extra step before I order something. Like, do I really need this? Is it worth me paying the shipping for me to get this item? And so it really made me kind of take that extra step to think before I purchase. And I ended up purchasing a fraction of the amount of items that I normally would. if I were to have had the Amazon Prime subscription. So I saved money by not having the Prime subscription, and I also saved a lot of money just because I didn't order nearly as much. Okay, number 8 of things that I stopped purchasing while I was working on getting out of debt, and that is clothes. I totally get it. I used to love to go to Target every new season and get a whole new fall wardrobe, or get a new, summer bathing suit and shorts and sandals and the whole 9 yards. It seemed like it was just something that I just really love to do. What do they call it? Retail therapy. That's what it felt like. It was so much fun to go see what new stuff Target had in the store, or the mall, or Old Navy, or wherever you go. I used to love to do that. Like every season I would go for me and Kaidale and get us some new clothes. But then I sat back and realized we have more than enough clothes. I'm just gonna take a year off from doing that. And kind of like with all these other things, after it was all said and done, it didn't really feel like a sacrifice. I didn't really miss it like I thought I would. We just recycled all of our same clothes from the previous year. Now, Kaidale, I did have to buy him some new stuff because he's a grown boy, so, I can't send him to school in high waters. That would not be very nice of me. So I did have to purchase him a couple new, affordable sweatpants and things like that, but no big deal. But for me, I recycled my same jeans from the previous years, my same sweaters. I had no problem, and I didn't feel like I was really missing out. I didn't feel like I was sacrificing that much. So that was a big savings just by not spending very much at all on clothes for this past year. Okay, the 9th and final thing that I stopped spending money on while I was working on getting out of debt was streaming subscriptions. We all love to Netflix and chill at night before we go to bed. I totally get that. I like to kind of just veg out and like watch an episode of something before I go to sleep. It's kind of relaxing. It's kind of your unwind downtime. And I totally get that. But what I discovered is that I really wasn't getting my money's worth. By having multiple different streaming subscriptions, at the end of the day, you're probably only really utilizing maybe one, if that. And there's so many free options. Now, yes, it's free with ads, of course, but that doesn't really bother me. It's not really that big of a deal to watch a few ads if it saves me, a lot of money a month, which it might not be a lot to you, but to me, saving even just $50 a month on various streaming subscriptions is a big deal. I mean, that's $50 a month I can put into my gas tank, or I can put towards the grocery bill or something like that. So not spending any more money on streaming subscriptions definitely helped me to have that extra cushion in my budget. And it's definitely something that, again, like all these things, I didn't really miss when I decided to cut it out. And I don't really think I'm gonna go back to spending money on any of these items, because I've learned that they truly are just wants, they're not needs, and I can totally live very comfortably without them. So hopefully you guys were able to get something out of this episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. If there's anything that you learned you can totally live without and you quit spending money on and you never looked back, let me know in the comment section. And I think that is so helpful. I love the comment section when I'm watching other people's podcasts or vlogs, because you just get so many different creative ideas, and sometimes it's stuff that you just never really thought of. So let me know areas that you like to save money in your life and areas that you have found that you can totally live without. And we'll see you guys next video. Thank you again so much for watching. We'll see you next time.